All right, so you've bought Football Manager, say Football Manager 2024, right? And now you're wondering, well, what do I do to get the cool stuff, right? There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with the game. There's a lot of different mods that are out there. There's lots of things you can do to change the game up. Now, you can play the game with just the normal vanilla settings if you like. And in fact, if you're on console, as I understand, you kind of have to do that. But if you're using a computer or if you're using the Steam Deck, if you're on Linux like I am or wherever else, there is some stuff that you can do to sort of mess around. So I'm going to show you a couple places here that you can go to get the good stuff. We're going to go look at the first one here, which is over on Steam itself. Now, my apologies if you're using like the Epic Game Store or something like that. I'm not familiar with that. I don't know exactly how it works. I'm just going to show you what you can do on Steam. It's not that hard. You go here into the game, and you're going to want, instead of clicking on play, you're going to want to go over here to the Community Hub. Click on Community, and that's where this will open this up, and you'll get all sorts of news and news stories and stuff. I'm guessing that there are people who read this because there's a lot of people giving things thumbs up. I never read it, right? So maybe you don't want to ask me what goes on here, but you know, people do read these. People look through this on different guides and all this other stuff. Anyway, you can do all sorts of fun stuff there, but what you really want to look at here is the workshop. That's where the interesting stuff's going to be. This is where you'll see all sorts of stuff from all sorts of FM creators. I mean, there are thousands upon thousands of different files here. Now, the warning is that they're not all really played all the way through. They're not all that well vetted necessarily. If you'll recall on this channel earlier with FM23, I picked up some sort of random Chinese league update from this place and was playing through that for a while until I got, I think it was 2 or 3 seasons into it, and then all of a sudden everything stopped working. I couldn't go forward anymore. So, you know, watch out. You never know what's going to happen. You can look here at the most popular. I'd recommend most popular all time. And you'll see some of these things might be helpful. The training schedule, probably not quite that much. But stuff like the German Football League system, this is one of those almost must-download things that everybody wants to use, right? So we'll go look at that. This is the system that you'll use. It's done in German, I believe, and it allows you to play like as far down as you possibly can. It's quite realistic. I don't know if the Pokal settings are correct. The ones with the game, at least in the past, didn't work necessarily fully correctly. And so you can play around with it and sort of see what you can get out of it, right? That's one of those things that you can do and look at. There's all sorts of other different little add-ons and stuff that you can play with. Now, when you look at these, though, I'll show you this one again. You need to make sure that you know what version of the game is compatible with, because some of these will only be compatible with like earlier versions of the database. Some of these will be uploaded and updated, and you might have to look through the comments to figure out exactly what's going on. Or even go over here, for example, for the German one to the Meistertrainer Forum, which will tell you what's going on also in German. So there's a lot of stuff you can play around with here. Honestly, I don't spend that much time looking here. I mean, you can look at like the worst database ever, where I know about this one actually. They had this before, where you have the 20 Leagues of Hell and all this other stuff. That's a lot of fun, and that might be kind of fun to play with. But we'll worry about that at a different time. There's all sorts of stuff on here that you can play around with. But again, like the quality of some of these may not necessarily be so high. So there you have it for that. Now, we're going to go ahead and switch over and see what other things are available. Let's see if we can get this loaded right. And here we go. So this is an example of some of the other places we can go. I've loaded up here the SI forums, but we're actually not going to go there first. Instead, we're going to go over to this website, sortedoutsI.net. And before we talk about anything else, if you don't know about Sorted Out SI, you need to know about it, right? This is like the center for like the most important of the FM add-on files, right? Absolutely. This is where you can get the database of pictures that everybody uses. I don't think I'm signed in here, but anyway, it's all right. You can get databases of pictures. This is where the real name fix is. This is where you get some of the databases that are very well known, like the English Lower League database. You can get the Japan database fix. You can get a whole bunch of other stuff here that can be very, very helpful, right? You can go check out like the Youth Development Guide. You can read about mentoring and training schedules and all sorts of stuff. Of course, I would recommend watching my earlier video on training, you might have a better idea there of what to do. But, who knows? You can go through and read different things and learn about stuff. You can use the random club feature if you're looking for something to play with. But again, the biggest are the downloads, and the downloads are the keys, especially, the player faces. This is what I prefer to use. And I mean, this is an absolutely huge database, over 450,000 player faces to spice things up. So that's really a site you want to go to. Again, sortedoutsI.net. This is where you go to find good things. This is where you go to find good graphics and things. And as you can see here, there are videos that tell you how to install things, how to keep things up to date, where to put things, and so on and so forth. I do need to log in and get everything for FM24. That's another story. Well, Sorted Out SI has some stuff, but it doesn't have everything. There's other stuff you can look at as well. I prefer FM Scout. There are other sites I think that compete. FM Scout has been very good to me over the years, very easy to use. I love looking through the add-ons. You just go here to all downloads and you'll see everything in a row. You can see they have downloads for all sorts of versions of the game. There are a bunch of different tactics and things that people upload. Now, not a lot of this is vetted as well, right? So you do have to be a little bit careful, but usually if you're reading through the comments, you'll be able to find out what is helpful, what maybe not is not so helpful. There's all sorts of cool stuff you can find here. If you go to miscellaneous graphics, for example, you'll be able to find the Nations Pack, Stadiums Pack, Competitions Pack, and stuff like that. Although I usually use the one from Sorted Out SI. I think that these are different. There's a pack of stadium pictures you can use. Fez's Enhanced Turf Textures is another thing that I use all the time in Football Manager, and I use it so much that I think I forget to talk about it sometimes. It's very easy to install. These turfs are much better than the ones that come with the game, so you'll want to check stuff like that out. There's other interesting things you can find here too. Let's see if it'll pop up. Ah, yes, here we go. Audio match commentary. Now, you know about this if you've been around the channel. Mets FM does this every single year. This has gotten better and better as time has gone on. If you're playing the game by yourself and you want to really become immersed in the game by game, you need this. The audio commentary is absolutely excellent. It keeps getting better. I made a video, this was a couple months ago, just using the audio commentary, and I can tell you that while I was watching that, I started to really get into what was happening in the match. I mean, it's really, really well done. So you need to check that out. It's really, really good stuff. And then, of course, there are some of my favorite things on here as well. If you go over to Editor Data, you'll see there's all sorts of leaks from around the world. There are data tweaks. There's a deep Japan level system you can play with if you want. Crazy databases where every player has been released. Sometimes these work well. We'll look into this and see what the comments say. It takes a long time to load and stuff like that. It takes like a half hour to load. Some of these you have to be careful with because it depends on the reputation of your team. Good players might not want to go over there. And then there's, of course, our famous World Super League, which is the one patch that I always play with. We're actually waiting for Darth Furion to come up with the update to this one, but it'll come pretty soon. So FM Scout is the place to go. If you're not interested in that sort of stuff, you should still go here anyway. Go over to Scouting platform. You can find information about any player in the game. If you want to look up who the Wonder Kids are, go click on FM Wonder Kids. This is an excellent rating system. Spoiler alert, right? You can go through this and figure out who all the best players are. Most of the best players are not going to go to your team. I mean, you're not going to get Camavinga from Real Madrid, right? You're not going to get anyone from PSG, right? But you might look through this and see if you can find some guys who are kind of hidden talents on certain teams and stuff like that. You can find the top bargains. You can find players that are actually still pretty good that might be a little bit older that other people have looked over. All sorts of really good stuff here to help you out. So, I mean, you need to go to this website if you don't know about it. You really should. And then last but not least, of course, is the Sports Interactive Community Forums. You might think, oh, the official forums don't have anything on here. No, it's got a lot of stuff on here. I mean, you can find information on skinning. You can find, of course, the tactics, the favorite Knap tactics. Then you can go over to Editor Hideaway. Go take a look at the FM24 forum. And so all of the things here, as you see, rules regarding charging for content, everything on here is going to be free, right? There are some add-ons that have paid options, such as the Increased Realism Mega Pack by Dave INCID. If you're not playing with this Mega Pack, you're not really playing Football Manager. This is kind of, it should be part of the basic game. The changes that he makes to this game are so good that like I can't imagine a save without them. So you need to get this, absolutely. And then there's different things that come up here from time to time, right? Usually we'll see at least a couple USA promotion relegation packs, for example. You'll see all sorts of data tweaks. You'll look at around the globe. Looks like we're doing it again here this year, which is good. This project here, the Iron Curtain, is one by Wolf PD. And one of the reasons why I like the official forums is because you get people there who have a good reputation. This guy, Wolf PD, has an excellent reputation. He's one of the moderators of this part of the forum. He's absolutely incredible at what he does. I've used Iron Curtain 2020, which was amazing, where I'm hoping that this will be finally finished. We've been waiting a couple years for this. Hopefully we'll get there eventually, because it would be a lot of fun to play with this type of save with a lot less foreign players around and stuff like that. And you can see as we go through this, yeah, we're kind of getting back to life. Poor Wolf PD, he had COVID for a little while, and it looks like he's still having some health issues, which may have been the thing that's sort of holding this up. Anyways, you can see there's a whole ton of stuff here to check out. There's a good community to be part of. If you're interested in doing your own editing and stuff, go check this out. Make sure you upload stuff, talk with people. They're very nice. Really, like the long and short of it is that Football Manager is much more than just the base game. And when you start getting into this extra stuff, the whole world opens up to you and you start seeing what is possible in this game. There's tons of cool stuff you can do if you're willing to kind of like go away from, you know, the very basic things and start looking around and poking in little corners and messing around with stuff. I'd recommend doing that. This is one of the reasons why this game becomes so habit-forming and so interesting, because there's this world of possibilities that's in front of you, and there's all sorts of things that you can try. So I recommend giving it a try. There you have it. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll talk with you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.